I met the ambassador during the book fair. The same ambassador who he was there because this JNU professor who is a Persian scholar, and he was sitting on the stage.
And the professor went on and
Ah,
on.
but-
Very
Professor went on with his Farsi poetry continuously. And they were smiling, they found it so sweet and amusing. So, those files you could download. Now, if you, you could locate those files. And now, at the same time, you also have similar files in your, which you want in your QGIS, right? So, how is your data situation in the VirtualBox now? You have enough space and things still? You can check space very easily using, if you can go to a terminal and you can do df means how much is disk free and -h. When you will do, then of course generally you will see somewhere, you will be able to figure out somewhere it is written 25 gigabytes and how much is available. So let's say, इसमें जैसे थर्ड में SDA1 9.4G is available. Okay, yeah, fine. So pretty good. All of you can run this command and check what's written in SDA1. Like for example, my main hard drive is SDA2, so I have total like 230.
Available.
How much? तो इसमें तुम्हें दिख जाएगा available में लिखा होगा कितना used कितना. So in my case it's 234 gigabytes, 144 gigabytes used, 75 gigabytes free. हाँ? कितना है तुम्हारा?
8.2.
अफसर? Show me. Yeah, it will be here. This SDA1, then so you will realize because you gave 25 gigabytes to G gigabytes. So you'll have Anisa, how much? 383M. Show me.
Third row.
It's in this one. Because you can figure out, like in SDA1. So I also don't know which one is what, but I know that okay, in my I allotted 25 gigabytes to this, so this must be that drive. SDA1 is that drive which is the version box. 25 gigabytes. So after that, used out of that is 15 gigabytes using all software and data, about 8.7 gigabytes. So you have enough free space. Okay. And where did you put that folder when you download? You straight in the home folder or downloads?
Downloads.
In downloads. Always you can move it directly to the home folder or keep it in downloads. So keep it in downloads. And when you go inside, so you can navigate. You free to navigate using this one or using command line. If you go using command line, you will go up to downloads. You know very well.
Yeah.
And if you're confused which folder, you can just do ls. Or you can straight go from here, home, downloads. You will go to home and you will go to downloads. Slightly different look yours will have, but basically the same. Now this, do you also have QGIS in your this thing? Yes, sir. In your VirtualBox also you have QGIS. So what you can do is, you can go to, I think I will go also using this. So in my studio, I shared this folder, no? I shared slum data. So now you see there are separate subfolders under this. There are also a couple of CSV files. Now these subfolders, they contain for each slum 3 layers, right? Each slum, each of the 42 slums of ढेंकानाल, there are 3 layers. One is the household layer, one is the revenue plot layer, one is the slum boundary layer. Now in this household layer, this I prepared for you already. So earlier we had the split thing, right? So you saw that was to give you a feel of how difficult can it be when the data is split like that or destroyed like that, you know. But this one is a more clean data. When you double click this HHINF GPKG, so you will see that this one doesn't have splits. This one just has the household numbers as whole number. There are no repetitions due to that. And the attribute data is quite large in the sense that it contains also the household survey data now linked. This I linked for you because it's a mechanical process and not part of the analysis. But the important thing is that this linking was an essential part of Java Mission because the household survey data has to link with the GIS survey data. Fact of the matter is that till today in Java Mission, this linking didn't get completed because most of the consultants involved didn't know what data linking means. So they were unaware. You can do something only when you're aware of something, right? So if you're unaware of what to do, then technology cannot help much because it will just increase your manual labor. So after doing all this, the manual labor of Java Mission did not decrease because people had to do things manually by instructing the GIS company, go slum by slum, find me this, find me that, you know, that kind of thing. So today we'll try something different. Now, so Hina, you also have QGIS in your?
No, that's what
It doesn't matter. It's just for seeing here because we will not work so much on QGIS. QGIS is just for some demonstration of something. So you can just those who have it can do it. Now let's say, as you remember, we had a couple of tasks. If we want to operationalize, we have to fulfill the objectives. And one of the first things was how many people can get land rights, you know, like we were doing some weeks back. So, and our first thing was that according to the Act, the parameters of the mission are given in the Act. Let's say as technical people, our task is now to fulfill the provisions of the Act and also see implications and then take it forward even beyond Java Mission's mandate. That's, let's say, our full studio. Now, according to the Act, it said that land rights is easiest to give if the house is less than 30 square meters and if it belongs to an EWS population. Now, what we will do today is we'll do three things. First, we will try to see how many houses are only EWS, only less than 30 square meters. How many houses are only EWS? And third, we will see how many houses are both EWS and 30 square meters, right? Now, you may wonder why not to run the operation directly. Why not to check, run an AND operation by saying that find all houses which are less than 30 square meters and EWS. This is because there may have been an area of the house is an absolute quantity, right? It's an absolute. Now, why did they say? They could have said either. They could have said free if you are EWS, or they could have said free if you are 30 square meters or less. But why do you think they gave two conditions? You can reduce the fan if you're feeling like this. Today weather is this. Why did they give both? Or why it was both? It's not, there is no clear reason. It's anybody's guess. You can interpret anyway, because the mission didn't say that this is the reason why we asked you. The mission just said this and this. But what could be a reason, possible reason? Why not to just check the EWS? EWS is economically weaker section.
Don't give that person land rights for whatever he has, without any premium. Why we are saying this condition, that if less than or equal to 30 square meter and also EWS, then no premium to be paid for land rights. Give land rights free. Why not? But economically weaker section is economically weaker section. So why not straight to say, if it's economically weaker section, no premium.
Also, maybe there is a larger house area.
Correct.
House area greater than 30
Of
square
course,
meter.
correct. Yeah, because it's like because all our planning, urban planning, physical planning. It's our subject is urban and regional planning. It's also called physical planning. It's physical planning because there is a socio-economic component and there is an actual physical component. So the two have to be considered always together. Jaga Mission is a case, but it will be the case no matter what planning you do, right? So in the sense that EWS, yes, but what if this EWS is probably a fraud case in a large mission where lakhs of households, so many municipalities, so many people, you need to put some cross checks also. Because for us, we are not, right now, we are not the planners who are giving ration. We are not looking for who is below poverty line based on affordability. Our interest right now is what is the relationship between income level and the size of the house he's able to pay. It's almost like how income tax people go and check. Somebody will say, oh, my salary is only 50,000. And then he will say that, then how do you have this jewelry? How do you have this? So they don't check money, they check actual possessions. Real economy is real possessions. How do you have this car? How do you have this? How do you have that? So it's same, it's kind of similar. If you're EWS, your house should most likely be less than 30 square meters. Yet, in a small town, it's quite possible that over a long period of time, even EWS made a slightly larger home. So even if premium should be less, but let's put some layers of checks. Now the layers of checks are extremely important because this is exactly what is called development control. In planning, it's called development control. Bylaws come from that, right? Footpaths should be this much. This should be set back. That should be set back. Most of the time, these bylaws are straight taken from Western examples and implemented. Here, your architectural standards are exactly like that. How many people you have seen in Indian kitchens trying to reach the top shelf? Because it's probably Newford standard. India doesn't have its own standards. India has ISI standards for different kind of things, but India doesn't have ISI pressure cooker, ISI water supply, everything is there. ISI architectural standard is not there. And this is also a thing because we don't do our own empirical research, so we can't create our own standard. So it's not done according to the Indian metrics, Indian average hand size, and then India has a lot of variety. Average Punjabi hand size will be different from average Bengali hand size, or an average Malayali hand size. Average height will be different. So our standards don't go by that. Yeah? We implement, and then now what happens? When you implement a standard, why is it a standard? It must be employed mass. It has to be employed mass and not fail. Otherwise, no standard is necessary. If you're just building your own home for your own friend, architects design houses for themselves. They have everything custom, custom thing. But in planning, you are going for development control and standard because you're saying height should not be more than this. Because why this? FAR should not be more than this or less than this. It's because you cannot individually check millions of houses that will be built, someday will be built, somewhere will be built. So you need a standard, you need a control, which will say that more or less it should not go beyond this, it will be a problem. And those standards have to be very creative, which is why they must be based on personal own one research, continuously updated, and never should be so difficult that it is hard to implement at a wide scale, and nor should be so banal that it has no effect whether you employ or not. You know, it's like in Delhi sometimes they used to put these rubber things to say this is a bus lane. It's a banal strategy. In India's traffic, no bus can just follow the bus lane because bus following a lane, nobody else following lane makes no difference. So very soon we used to see that the bus runs over those things and those rubber things get totally broken, you know. Speed breakers are same kind of things. Lane driving, in India lane driving, chalan, you know, for everything one can find a thing because those standards, then one cannot say that standards were there but people don't follow. People don't follow because it's very low probability that in that situation that chalan, that system is workable at all, you know. That's exactly where this kind of flexible, cybernetic, you know, one has to decide why, what kind. Can it work when income level of someone is here, another one is here? Can one set a chalan amount which will solve the problem? It will create a new problem, bribery. Or it will create another problem where the rich will get away because you will have to keep it away so that the truck driver can also, the poor driver can also pay something, but the same will apply to the rich. On the spot, you cannot check income level and then say because you are high income level, your thing will be high or low, which means strategies which are automatically when you test that strategy, you will see that it's not. How do you test it? You test it by modeling it. You model a situation, you say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to increase an FAR here, or I'm going to increase the chalan rate here, I'm going to put a premium here. What could be possible consequence? What could be the scenario? And the data and the planning process should be such that even if you miscalculate, after everything, even if you miscalculate, you quickly revert back. For that, you need actually digital or smart, that is smart system. Smart city. Smart system means, any smart system means that it can respond to feedback. That's actually smart. Can take decision on his own. He's a smart person. How do you take decision on your own? You can see the environment, receive all the feedback, and decide accordingly. Which means a feedback responsive system is Delhi Master Plan 2040. That's a document. But the system of planning has to be continuous feedback because the moment you end up, let's say plan says no malls here, but let's say due to some reason a mall does come up there. Will you wait for the next 20 years to see the impact of that, to redo the plan based on that? One has to also factor all possibilities. Every possibility has to be accepted. One cannot say that, oh, this is a plan, it should not have been violated. No, it will be violated. If anybody is more powerful than the plan, he will violate it. If he has more political connections, and everybody does it. Look at USA. He cares for the controls of United Nations. वो अपने लेवल पे खेलता है. वो शायद अपने सिटी में वायलेशन नहीं करता. वहाँ सब कुछ साफ रहता है. दुनिया में जाके यूनाइटेड नेशन का गाइडलाइन है वो तोड़ देगा उसको. So one has to play the game knowing that those with power, that's why planning links with politics also, very heavily. Any time you have to anticipate that the one with power, at a mass scale, where you will not be there, you will not be able to see, he will break the rule, he will bend the rule. Your system should already preempt that. Your system, your method should consider the fact that that also will be taken care of. Otherwise it's not even any fun. Otherwise it's like too easy. I made a guideline, everybody should follow the guideline. Never happens in no system. So now, try something. On your QGIS, I will just check one thing. Open the first one, just the first one, and tell me how many households here are less than or equal to 30 square meters.
daily violation.
Nine.
First, what would you have to do first?
9
Huh? Sorry?
9,000.
What was the method that you followed?
Query builder.
Huh?
Query builder से less than 30 square meter कर दिया.
Okay, yeah, you did straight by the query, yeah? So, now imagine if you, for any given situation, if you have to find out, you have to inform the government which households this and that, you will have to do it for 42 slums. And this time you can also do both operations, right? So let's say area less than equal to 30 and also EWS. There is a column EWS. Keep these data because these data also have some, because it's too much time to delete all that. It also has, I think, some personal details, so keep the data and we'll delete those things after we have done. I will trust you to that. Check, there is a there is a EWS status. It will be called new EWS status somewhere in the column. And I think it's true or false, right?
Yeah.
So that means area less than or equal to 30, EWS and EWS status, what is that? True. Generate a layer which shows only those houses. Initially, when you calculated, you did it straight from the attribute table. You open the attribute table and you selected. Huh? How, like first time when you did you do like this? You made the attribute table and then by by query by select or by how? Is there an area column here?
Area का occupied square meter है ना?
Did you use that one? How did you, what command did you use? For example, what command did you use to find less than 30 square meters?
से query builder से कर दिया ना?
Query builder में क्या टाइप किया?
Query builder में occupied एक से
We clicked on it to
occupied
have a
square
percent
kilometer
हाँ.
square meter less than equals to 30 square meter.
Yeah. And
30 कर
now
देंगे.
here, so here the thing is, if you remember, this map is a clean. This could be also correct because.
सर हम दो command
Yeah, you can use, but sometimes it can be a bit risky because these are all, whenever you have these data sets, especially area and all, you can use it for now, but it's good to always create a separate column because you never know who input this data. Maybe this data considers that older thing when the houses used to be split. And maybe it is the area of just one part of the house. In this case, most likely not. So sometimes, right now you can use it, but generally, especially for, now let's say EWS. EWS data, you have to trust what is there, because you cannot. But let's say in area is always calculated by the GIS itself. right? So if you have something, what if that data is inputted by hand by someone, right? So even EWS can be, but in that we have no choice, we accept. In the case of area, you accept, but generally you can create an extra thing also. Not right now you can use it, but I'm telling you just to be cautious, because area, anything that can be created by GIS calculation itself, that calculation, especially geographical calculations, anything related to distance, area, there's that, no need to rely on statistics. Statistics is for socioeconomic data. Spatial data we generate from here. But anyway, that is fine. So could you complete? Area is square foot less than 30 and EWS?
Yes.
And how many? 9. So it kind of matches. So this was, both these things was done in Jaga Mission because it was an assumption that if he is an EWS, most likely his house would be less than 30 square meters and all. There were multiple, so when you see a guideline, when you see a standard, never take a standard at face value. When somebody says commercial FAR 2.2, never take it as face value. Always try to think what's behind this number. Why did they set it 2.2? Why increase? What does it mean? What's the implication? Like FAR, those of you who have worked in real estate or in your architecture firms, FAR has a complete different interpretation if you are a planner, if you are a homeowner, or if you're a private developer. Private developers will always try to increase the saleable. So their enthusiasm, or they will be interested in things like what is FAR free. If they ever interact with private developers, they're very interested in FAR free. Some balcony extensions FAR free. Some kind of parking area FAR free. Because there they will then try to expand the square meterage because it's free from that part. And they are, in fact, it's the profit maximization of private developers that has completely destroyed the design of affordable housing in India, which I know because I used to work in developer companies myself, so I could interview them. But that's the task of research also. One has to interview them, one has to figure. They very openly say, they don't hide it, because they want to maximize saleable area. When you maximize saleable area, you try to reduce all the area that goes to corridor, common spaces, things like that. What does a poor person need most? Poor person needs most common spaces. A combined balcony, which is a bit broad, so that they can take the household chores outside on the balcony and do some stuff. But when it would be the private developer, he will always try to use that where the corridors are inside with the lift well and the apartments are all along, because that minimizes net corridor space maximum. And because that's not saleable space, that's loaded space. What you're selling to the person or to the government is actually your carpet area. That's what you're effectively selling. Everything else, so the person is buying that. The person is like, well, how much is my carpet? Well, there's one absolute wall to wall, then there would be a super area, super built up area, carpet area, right? That's how architect firms design and developers sell. But the person who is buying, he's not interested. If you have thick walls, my carpet area is just this much. For me, if I want to live there, my carpet area is more important for me. That means the money will come only for carpet area. Using that money, the developer must be able to build everything else that's needed. Parking space, open spaces, these are all non-saleable. So from a private developer's perspective, of course that guy would like to minimize all that shit. But that's why you see when even in DDA housing, you will see a lot of parks, a park here, a park there. The private builder housing would look very cool, but they are lousy designs. Lousy designs, because they will try to squeeze all the open space in the middle, buildings on the side, generally a net going like that, because everything is designed to look very nice, but essentially, when you will calculate the incidental green spaces, parks, playgrounds, stock lots in a normal DDA block, compare that with any housing estate in Gurgaon, you will find that at a lower cost when it was built, they gave much more open space than. But when now new bylaw comes, the new bylaw will be, government will say, I will just zone, private builder will build. That means that's it, end of story, finished. Now, private builder can do anything. He will negotiate FAR, this and that, try to increase and make his designs, and then it's already, the story is gone. So, the planner's task in these neoliberal things becomes even more crucial. So with old techniques, the planner, therefore planners are basically now given up. There is a reason why they don't even like to use proper planning techniques, because for them it's like everything is given over to private developer anyway. What the heck have we to do in the first place? Just make some policy. Which policy they know will be violated, which policy will be accepted only if it is to the liking of the private developer to help maximize his profit, or to architecture firms who are absolutely hand in glove in this, absolutely hand in glove. Recently, one landscape firm in Delhi won a contract from Tata Builders to turn the residence of the king of Tripura into a 5-star hotel. The king of Tripura was a close friend of Rabindranath Tagore. That should have turned into a heritage model in any other country. That would have been, when Tripura was under the left front government, throughout it remained like a heritage thing. Then BJP government comes to Tripura, and step by step, and Tata is like that. Tata all the time will like to say that it's a great philosopher and this and that. Sabhi kuch karta hai, uska 5-star hotel bana. Now, an architect, therefore, typically architect professor will definitely come to SPA and talk wax big about vernacular architecture. I'm talking people like B.V. Doshi. अपने ऑफिस में जाके 5-star hotel कहाँ बन रहा है, उसका डिजाइन बनाएंगे, because it's their livelihood, their profit, linked to the developer's profit, linked to those kind of profit. The planners in this case have become like, छोड़ो हम पहले से ही थोड़े बदनामी थे. At the same time, planners kind of did better, one would say. Delhi was better in the 80s from its planning perspective than definitely what it is now. So now they don't do anything. Now they hide behind policy. Policy which is not backed by anything. But these are actually where policies are generated from straight empirical based on real. That's why we took this case. Because even one can test the policy. One can check the policy. Then one can say, that's why once we were applying, then they created a 3-graded policy. They said that if it is very small town, then up to 60 square meters will be allowed. Municipality, 45 square meters will be allowed. There was variety. And now you remember why variety is important. Because variety must respond to the variety, adequate variety must respond to this. 30 square meters was still a big block in front of us, because many schemes of the central government are linked to this 30 square meter kind of PMAY is like that. Minimum 20 or 30, kind of there are some BLC and all. So the central government cracks it. Now the central government, as we know, now it becomes even more revealed. Central government is not central government. Central government is just advised by money. Central government is advised by the same consultants who are advising other private, PwC, McKinsey, these. So they push forward those kind of things. It of course can be reverted, but for that one has to know, one has to be able to test these things all the time. Each and every bylaw must be tested, its implications seen and changed if necessary, without derailing or disrupting the implementation of the program. Right? Okay, so pretty much you saw that my talking notwithstanding, it still took some time to do it for one slum, right? So then you have to do it for 42 slums. Of course we will not, because if you had to do for 42 slums, there will be no need for Linux, no need for all these promises. And forget, it's not 42 slums. Jaga Mission, as you know, is about approximately 3,000 slums. So now think, if same, and this is just one parameter, one thing. After that, it will also come from this database itself. You will see. Also, you can calculate what is Jaga Mission's linkage or correlation with different government missions. For example, there is a column type of wall and type of roof, just like in census there is. But census gives you total number of houses. This one is empirical, and in slum we often may not find it. Now this one updated for slums, and he says there is total number of wall and what material, right? I have to see, I've forgotten how good was the input of this thing, of the data. Now, which mission do you think this links with? Type of wall and type of roof. Which major government mission is this data going to help? And why?
Rajiv Awas Yojana.
Rajiv Awas Yojana finished in 2014.
प्रधानमंत्री
हाँ.
PMAY
Rajiv Awas Yojana was a very good scheme, but unfortunately ended. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Yeah, but why? What's this got to do with Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana? How many verticals Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana has? 3 or 4? Which ones?
One is they give loan to the beneficiaries to
Hmm.
construct their own home. The second is they buy plots for the beneficiaries. And the third is rental option.
Check, just do a Google search and say verticals of PMAY. How many verticals it has?
सर इसमें ये भी तो हो सकता है कि लैंड राइट्स जो दे रहे हैं तो उसमें उन्हें कंस्ट्रक्ट करना है हाउसिंग उसके क्योंकि आप ये लैंड जो है वो आप वो नहीं कर सकते मॉर्गेज नहीं कर सकते तो उससे उसको ऐसे मिलके और वो बिल्ड कर सकते हैं तो इस वजह से उन्हें PMAY से लिख किया
क्या करके बिल्ड कर सकते हैं?
सर जो लैंड राइट्स मिल रहे हैं पर्टिकुलरली ज़रूरी नहीं कि लोग सफिशिएंट हो उस चीज़ पे बिल्ड करने के लिए तो हाउसिंग बिल्ड करने के लिए तो उस पर्टिकुलर हाउसिंग को बिल्ड करने के लिए PMAY से लिख किया गया ताकि वो PMAY से लिख के पैसे ले सकें
Actually, that was one of the main goals of Jaga Mission anyway. कि उसको लैंड राइट्स मिलेगा तभी वो PMAY को अवेल कर सकता है और पार्ट उसमें से आएगा पार्ट उसका मिल सकता है पर वॉल और रूफ का क्या एनीवे इट्स गुड टू प्रैक्टिस इट हैज 4 verticals in situ slum redevelopment also is a part of this thing जो actually which is not like Jaga Mission which is typically this builder developer style Dharavi style thing uses land as a resource to rehabilitate slum dwellers with private developer participation. Credit linked subsidy scheme means provides interest subsidies on home loans up to 6.5% for purchasing, building or expanding house. Of course, not a single bank provides any credit subsidy to any EWS. This is for the heck of saying it, but it avails middle class people benefit generally from it. Affordable housing in partnership is essentially construction of multi-story condominium units like the G+, G+4, G+5, that thing. So it's kind of like public housing, public multi-storied housing, affordable housing naam kya with partnership. In the sense, this links to something that already happens where the private developers must allot some part to LIG, this thing, but they say that EWS should also be done and private developers should be EWS. Interview any private developer, this is a horror for them. they tried for a while to see whether this makes any sense or not, but makes no sense, so they disappeared. The only, and which you will see also in research now, it's known if you do a Google, the only one that little bit works is this beneficiary-led construction, BLC, where they give up to central assistance of 1.5 lakhs, which is, as you know, nothing when you want to construct a house. About 50,000 comes from the state, so 2 lakhs, right? And for early completion above 20,000. Here also there are bylaws at what tranches the money will be released. So Orissa, after the first round of it, then simplified it. They said that if every time one has to do something and come running for release of money, that fails the thing. So they simplified it. There's a plinth, the plinth and sill and that's it. Finally roof casting. The roof casting, the final money is gone. Now, little bit you are familiar with PMAY, little bit you are familiar with BLC, which is this whole quest for making Pakka house, and this much money will come. And this is the, let's say Orissa had simplified payment like this, that you have to show plinth, this. Now tell me, what relationship could it have with this data of wall and roof?
Maybe like the construction material used during the construction times, if something can be retrofitted from that existing structure,
Who cares about that?
because it is beneficially led, so the person who is going to own the home,
From that person's point of view, yeah. But more, think a bit more.
Maybe to recognize like who are the people who need to build new houses.
Yeah, that's how.
Like if they check, look at their houses through walls and roofs. Who need retrofittation?
And who would need, yeah, it's correct, the line of thinking is correct, but, and then who would need,
तो अच्छा है उसको
it's correct, it's little bit to identify who may need new houses.
दो जाएगा
The
कच्चा
person already has a house, that's why we introduced it. Now if the roof, and always it's good to therefore analyze these things, otherwise all the time from census we are, for what? Why it's given like, and why census also doesn't straight away say pakka, kacha, semi pakka, why they don't say like that? Why they have to give roof and wall? Because if you think, now just think about it, you live in a slum, let's say, or you're building your house, as you are getting money you are building, but you have walls made of brick. You have pakka walls, let's say. Pakka means just permanent material, brick and mortar walls you have, not a wattle and daub, not mud and straw and this kind of thing. You have now brick, but your roof is sometimes wooden tile, sometimes the mud tiles, burnt tiles are considered as, generally they are considered pakka, sometimes say pakka, depending on what kind of tiles they are. But let's say your roof is kacha. You have walls, but you have part of it is thatch, part of it is some broken, recycled, collected from here and there tiles. This is one house, let's say this is Hafsa's house. Hafsa has been working on it. She has been able to make her wall of brick, but the roof is still. Osama's situation, Osama is also living in that slum. Now he has he's made a plinth because his brother works as a mason, and that's how it happens in slums actually. It's also a demolition prevention. Better to make just a plinth. Plinth को तोड़ेगा नहीं, वो ऊपर से उसको तोड़ के निकल के, because police also doesn't want to work that hard. No, अगर वो लकड़ी का है तो तोड़ना भी आसान, तो तोड़ के निकलो यहाँ से. प्लिंथ भी तोड़ना पड़ेगा, तो प्लिंथ छोड़ देते हैं. तो let's say he has a plinth. उसके बाद उसका सारा कच्चा ही है, वॉल भी कच्चा है, रूफ भी कच्चा है. और किसी का है, अब किसी का है, अनीसा का है, उसने दोनों उसका वो स्लम बिल्डर एसोसिएशन प्रेसिडेंट बनने के चक्कर में उनके दोनों ही पक्के हो गए. वो तो खड़े भी होंगे अभी कुछ दिन बाद लोकल इलेक्शन में. हाँ, तो उनका दोनों है. हाँ, बट ऑल आर इन स्लम, ऑल आर स्मॉल. नाउ इमेजिन दैट गवर्नमेंट ने सेड कि अब PMAY का पैसा आने वाला है, और किसी का भी अर्निंग उतना अच्छा नहीं है. जस्ट बाई ओवर टाइम यू हैव बीन एबल टू डू दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. नाउ who do you think will be most and provided let's say 2 लाख का बाकी बंदोबस्त कहीं से हो जाएगा. हाँ, वो तो है, अब ये 2 लाख मिल गया तो ही हो जाएगा. तो कौन, किसका प्रोबेबिलिटी है कि वो बनाएगा नया वाला मकान? ओसामा का सबसे ज़्यादा होगा. क्यों? प्लिंथ कंस्ट्रक्टेड. और दूसरी सबसे बड़ी बात है कि नॉट हाउ कच्चा इज इट. जिसने पक्का बना लिया है और उसको अगर उसी जगह पे लैंड राइट्स मिल रही है तो उसको तोड़ना पड़ेगा ना पहले, क्योंकि BLC में ये कहते हैं, they say according to guidelines it is there, you can retrofit, you can improve. Of course, these are nationwide schemes. That means millions and millions of beneficiaries. कौन सा सिस्टम यहाँ पे है जो वो म्यूनिसिपल इंजीनियर बैठा होगा जिसको जाके कहेगा कि सर मैं बस अपने छत के ऊपर ये छोटा सा रूम बना रहा हूँ, उसी के लिए उतना ही चाहिए मुझे। वो कहेगा नहीं नहीं ये सब नहीं होगा, 3 लेवल है बस, प्लिंथ बनेगा मिलेगा, प्लिंथ है, वो कहेगा अरे हाँ कब का बना हुआ है, मुझे बस ये चाहिए, नहीं प्लिंथ का रिलीज होगा प्लिंथ के लिए, उसके बाद ये, क्योंकि वो कहेगा कि पर न्यूज़ में तो है कि उसका न्यूज़ में छोड़ो हम नहीं कर सकते उतना कौन करेगा, इतना फाइल तुम करोगे, इतना यहाँ पे 1 लाख एप्लीकेशन अभी पेंडिंग हो रहा है, उसमें मैं हर किसी का खोजूंगा कहाँ पे खिड़की है, कहाँ पे ये है, कहाँ पे वो है। Actually that's how it happens. If you deliberately or stupidly, 2 reasons can happen. You can be a deliberate mischief maker at the top, यार उनको ऐसा बनाऊंगा रूल कि कोई लेगा नहीं, और वो करते करते जनरली बुद्धू, like what is happening in Western governments now, they have done manipulation long enough, now they have probably become stupid because now it's like it's unclear. Is the American military now bad or is it incompetent? The Russians and Chinese have actually concluded that they have reached the level of incompetence. That's why they are more wary. Said that an idiot is more dangerous. During Cold War, they were enemy and bad, imperialist and smart. Now they are imperialist and dumb. So very dangerous. Handle them with utmost care. That's why they go very slow, very clear. तो क्या पता ये क्या करेगा? वो कभी भी बोलता है कि मैं tactical nuke use करूँगा, उसके बाद वहीं जाके मैं कॉफ़ी पीऊँगा. इनका कोई वो नहीं है because they have lost scientific education drastically. So all these missions you have to see like that. So I will tell you how we learned it like this. So let's say Jaga mission was done so that, and then BLC also has this thing जो कहीं पे ये बोलता नहीं है, पर वो अंदर क्लॉज में एकदम वो क्रेडिट कार्ड क्लॉज की तरह है कि if you have can show documentation of land ownership, only then do you get it. So when this discussion was going on, our principal secretary, Mr. Madhivardhani himself, he laughed and he said that which person with land documentation, land ownership in cities anywhere in states of India is poor? वो गई वो हो गया, उसके पास है तो ज़मीन, कितना भी है उसके पास ज़मीन है, तो फिर और झुग्गी बस्ती तो झुग्गी बस्ती इसीलिए क्योंकि उसके पास लैंड नहीं है. मतलब आपने बड़े कन्वीनियंटली पूरे इसमें से झुग्गी बस्ती को आपने निकाल ही दिया, पर आपने कहा नहीं. मतलब आपने क्या दिया कि लैंड ओनरशिप सर्टिफिकेट दिखाना पड़ेगा, वो उसके पास है नहीं, बस मामला सो. एंड नाउ सो ओडिशा देयरफॉर did not challenge that because you could not challenge and change the rules, they are already made. तो उसने कहा कि ठीक है वो पैसा दे रहा है, मैं नीचे से लैंड राइट्स दे देता हूँ, ऊपर से पैसा आएगा, मैं नीचे से कारपेट मैं डाल दूंगा नीचे उसके. That was their thing. Now the next question happens, because slums do incremental building, even very middle class often does incremental building, right? You will see that ऐसा रहता है उसमें बस वो निकला हुआ है बात वो करेगा. And slums definitely do. वो साइड में एक बनाएंगे अगर जगह है तो, या ऊपर ले जाएंगे, या एक ही रूम बनाएंगे फिर दूसरा रूम बनाएंगे, स्वच्छ भारत टॉयलेट कहीं साइड पे बनाएंगे. So like that they build. So the question is, the extent of pakka or semi-pakka will show the probability where he will avail of this even if he gets land rights or not. Rather, that person's motivation will be कि अभी तक मैंने इन्वेस्ट कर दिया इसमें, कुछ लाख मेरे निकल गए पिछले 5 साल में, धीरे धीरे करके बनाया, अब लैंड राइट आ गया, मतलब ये तो सिक्योर हो गया, अब PMAY ज़रूरत नहीं है अभी, वो उस पर कौन माथा बच्ची करेगा, म्यूनिसिपैलिटी जाऊंगा फिर उससे डील करूँगा, वो प्लिंथ बनाऊंगा, वो तो हो गया मेरा काम, मैं तो 7-8 साल से तो मैं वही कर रहा हूँ. That's why these kind of schemes that they make are dumb from the word go, absolute dumb. You will always find a lot of numbers coming up. Total India में numbers भी होंगे, वो फज भी होंगे, जैसे I know myself, you know, वो टैग करके बस स्वच्छ भारत पर टैग करके वो नंबर अपलोड हो जाता है, टैग करके उसमें फिर लार्ज नंबर्स आर गोइंग, तो फिर उसमें क्या होता है, somebody says 90 million, ये वो कौन चेक करेगा? Who can check? You can't go and check. You can't. There is no. The database is not flexible enough that people can go and visualize and check and this and that. Random cross check करे वो नहीं हो पाता. तो जनरली अब जिसका एकदम मिट्टी का है और उसके पास अगर पैसे हो तो वो ये कह भी सकता है कि हाँ ठीक है मेरा वाला पूरा मिट्टी का ही है, पक्का बन जाएगा तो ये कर लूँ. या अगर जिसको थोड़ा रिलोकेट करना है, रेलवे लैंड में है, उसका अगर रिलोकेट होगा तो वो PMAY में टैग हो जाएगा पूरा. So we generated our own method of checking. So like twice it happened that I prepared the list which had to go to central government that how many PMAY sanctions Orissa would need, or according from Jaga Mission we will be able to say. So and the method we took was this: if it is both kacha wall and generally wall-y, a wall kacha है उसमें पक्का रूफ नहीं बैठ सकता for sure. You know, उसमें मिट्टी का बना के कंक्रीट का रूफ बनाया है इसका प्रॉबिलिटी बहुत कम है. Zero. एंड तो वॉल देख ले तो ठीक है, और वॉल पक्का रूफ कच्चा ठीक है, उसको सेमी पक्का पकड़े, और वॉल पक्का रूफ पक्का वो तो नहीं लेगा PMAY. वो 2 लाख रुपए के लिए वो अपने इतने सालों की मेहनत क्यों करेगा, वो भी 2 लाख ही मिल रहे हैं. ऐसा होता है कि 10 लाख मिल रहा है. हाँ, दैट्स इंसेंटिवाइज काइंड ऑफ थिंग कि आप 5 लाख 6 लाख आप घर में लगाइए, 3 लाख आप एक्स्ट्रा रख लीजिए, बैंक में रखिए अपने बच्चों की पढ़ाई के लिए, ये भी हो जाएगा. दैट इज इंसेंटिव, है ना. यहाँ पे इंसेंटिव गरीबों के लिए जब देते हैं तो ये डिसइंसेंटिव को ही वो इंसेंटिव कह रहा है. मैंने तुम्हें कहा कि ऐसा करो, हर दिन 3-3 घंटा बैठ के जो मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ उसको घर बैठ के प्रैक्टिस करो, हर दिन तुम्हें एक छोटा सा टॉफी दूंगा. बट ये मैं खुद ही मेरे पास कभी ले लूँगा. असली इंसेंटिव क्या है ये बताओ. वो किसी और के लिए बना रखा है, इसके पास ऑलरेडी बहुत कुछ है, उनको मैं इंसेंटिव देता हूँ. आपके लिए इतना ही है, वहाँ से जितना पैसा बचा था उसे that's 8. So it actually doesn't work that way. And so majority of the PMAY that gets built also, and I will show you photographs, is generally even those households in the slum who they could have made it anyway. उनके पास ऑलरेडी था 4-5 लाख था घर पे कुछ करने के लिए, पर वो सोच रहा था यार उसको रहने दो. अब अचानक से 2 लाख आ गए तो कहते हाँ चलो बनाते, वो 2 लाख मेरे लिए एक्स्ट्रा ही हो जाएगा, इसमें बना दूँगा. तो 30 स्क्वायर मीटर्स 2 स्टोरी अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 30 स्क्वायर मीटर लगभग 4.5 लाख लग जाता था. कोई फ्लोरिंग वोरिंग नहीं करके अराउंड गोपालपुर दिस एरिया ये 4.5-5 लाख ऐसा. 2-1.5-2 लाख में तो वो है ही नहीं. बैंक ने पूरे जागा मिशन के 5-6 साल में, डिस्पाइट इट बीइंग ए चीफ मिनिस्टर लेड प्रोग्राम, एवरीथिंग, नो बैंक गेव अ पेन टू एनीवन. And so one should know very clearly that all the bullshit that they talk, it's only for coming to webinars and seminars and talking big. And it's very easy to check. ना जाके सीधा data ही लेना चाहिए, उसका बात सुनने की क्या. Okay, so now you know that this is the link with PMAY. That means not just implementation means what? What's the probability of success? What's the even that is not guaranteed. उसके बाद उसको check करना है कि वो सच में, but you can optimize your effort. You would not waste time telling a पक्का हाउस पर्सन आप PMAY ले पाए. वो कहेगा है मैं टोपी है, कोट है, सब कुछ है, अब कह रहे टी-शर्ट बेचने आया. तो जो ऐसे बैठा है चड्डी पहन के उसका कुछ नहीं है, वही कहेगा कि हाँ मैं टी-शर्ट ले तो सकता हूँ, दाम और थोड़ा कम कर दीजिए. फिर आएगा गवर्नमेंट साइड से कुछ देगा, होगा हाँ ये मिल गया है इसको देंगे. सो यू कैन ऑप्टिमाइज एंड यू विल नो व्हेन यू आर रीचिंग सक्सेस, यू विल नो हाँ यहाँ क्लिक करेगा, यहाँ काम करेगा. When you know it, then it will happen because you are on the right track. If you are clueless कि पॉलिसी बनाता हूँ लग जाए मतलब वो कभी नहीं लगेगा. That doesn't work that way. And then you have a toilet column for toilet in 2018 data. So that directly links with your Swachh Bharat. That how many individual toilets and CTPT जो community toilet, public toilet, वो तो देते थे, but that was rightly discouraged because as much as possible it's nice to have individual toilet. और ना ही है तो ठीक है, तब एकदम ही possible नहीं है. Now tell me, apart from toilet, yes or no, what else will determine the probability of uptake of PMAY of Swachh Bharat individual toilet?
Apart from toilet.
Apart from toilet है कि नहीं, and apart from money is also a factor of course. Think. अभी घर में टॉयलेट है नहीं, स्लम का घर है, स्लम के अंदर है, उसको टॉयलेट पर कुछ भी बनाना है तो उसको सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम क्या होगा? अगर प्रॉपर स्लम है, स्पेस स्पेस ही नहीं होगा, बनाएगा कहाँ? स्पेस तो जाओ कहीं पे ऐसे दिल्ली के चुकी चौकी में एकदम डेंस एरिया में जाओ, उसका घर ही ठीक से नहीं है, वो कहेगा कहाँ टॉयलेट टॉयलेट का बनोगे? हाँ, तो वहाँ पे फिर CTPD का वो आता है, वो भी बाहर की तरफ करना पड़ता है, फिर वो यूज़ नहीं होता। तो ऑफन यू विल सी एक स्लम है, स्लम के एज में एक छोटी सी सड़क है, उसके उस पार इधर एक ट्यूबवेल भी लगा होगा, उसके साथ में वो कुछ लैट्रीन के वो लगे हैं। सो दैट ऑटोमेटिकली व्हेन यू विल सी दैट यू हैव a 5-seater, 2 or 3 5-seater, 10-seater CTPD for a slum of 200-300 households, probability of open defecation will be very high, because who the hell, मतलब खैर I would not go अगर मुझे पीसफुल जगह मिल जाएगी and safe पीसफुल जगह मिल जाएगी तो वही है, that's the reality. One has to see and then one doesn't, ऐसा नहीं है कि फील्ड में जाके भी असली फील्ड वर्क कोई कर नहीं सकता। असली फील्ड वर्क करना होगा कि आप कहाँ पे ओपन डेफिकेशन हो रहा है, वहाँ जाना ही मुश्किल है फॉर ऑब्वियस रीजंस। तो so one has to use one's head, हाँ, कहाँ जाता होगा, खुली ज़मीन होगी वहीं जाता होगा। So we calculated the probability like that if there is a slum, along with that is some open space of some government building, some road that is not so visible, especially drain, open defecation probability will remain high. Now all those exist in the slums of the small town, but space also exists. तो अगर उसका है तो वो यहाँ पे बना। So the moment you are in a small town, there are different kind of parameters. The moment you go to the slum of a big town, the parameters change almost to diametrically opposite.